Now we'll be going over charts inside Excel. Charts are a huge part of Excel. Dealing with the data in Excel can be tedious and it can involve a lot of looking at numbers. Data visualization using charts in Excel makes this process a lot easier for everyone involved. Visualizing large datasets makes it easy for you and your colleagues to see both the data and the trends that come from that data. This is the data that will be needed for you or them to make the correct data-based decision, which is how good businesses are run. Let's take a look at how to create charts inside Excel. So what I've done is I've created a table, and we'll call these guys traders, and we'll look at their numbers throughout the month. I'm going to use a formula to generate random numbers between 1 and 100. And I'll go over this formula a little bit later so you don't have to worry about the ins and outs of it now. We're going to use the rand between, so random between. We're going to go between 1 and 100. And we're going to drag this down, and then we're going to drag it over. And we just filled in all the data that we need. It doesn't matter what they are because we just need random numbers. So let's make a chart, because looking at this data right here, looking at these numbers, does not tell me much. But looking at a chart based off of these numbers can show me a lot of the trends that are going on for these different traders throughout the year. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go to the Insert tab. And we're going to go over here to the Charts section. The first one that I'm going to show you how to make is a column chart. So we're going to go to the column, and I just want a 2D. You can do 3D, you can do cylinders, you can do cones, you can do pyramids, and you can look at the different chart types all from this menu. We just need a 2D column chart, nice and simple to begin with. Now at the start, it's blank. So we're going to have to go over here to the Data section. We're going to select Data. We're going to select the entire table for our data range, and it automatically infers what you might want this graph to show. So this is actually Excel guessed right this time. We want the traders to be, or the names to be, the legend entries. We want the months to be the horizontal categories. So the months from here will be the horizontal categories down here. And then we're going to show the numbers in the bars. Now we'll hit OK. Now this chart shows everything that we need to show, but it doesn't look all that good. It looks crowded, and there's ways that we can make it look a lot better. So let's go ahead and put it over here, and then on each corner and in the middle here, you can actually click and drag it down to spread it out. What I usually do is I grab the corner because this keeps the scale, so it keeps it even as you drag it across. So let's make this nice and big, and then we're going to go to the Chart Layouts section. So in the chart layouts, it gives you different default layouts that you can have it. So you can go with the chart title up top and the legend on the side, or the legend up top and no background. Add in lines. You can have no title with no background. You can show the data table down the bottom. Or you can use this to actually have the labels on the chart. The one I usually use is this one, because I usually like the legend down the bottom with a chart title up top. So let's put traders. And now a lot of people will usually leave it like this, but to me this doesn't look as good as it possibly could. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and click on the graph. And you notice when you click on the graph, more tabs show up. So from here, these are tabs specific to this chart. So we have the design, where you can change the chart styles. You saw earlier, this is where we change the chart layouts. You can change the data. You can also change the chart type directly from here. We also have the Layout tab that allows you to change different things about how the graph is laid out. You can change the title, the access titles, the legend, data labels, and the data table. You can also change the axes and grid lines. You can also change the plot area and the background, and you can add in trend lines for analysis. Over here is how you format the different bars and the text that is in the chart. You can add text effects, different fills, different outlines, different word art styles. You can have shape styles for the bars that are in the graph. And so let's go ahead and make this look a lot better, and it's pretty simple to do. So usually what I do is I go to the chart styles, and everybody has their own preference, but my personal preference is I like style number 26, which is right here. So we're going to go ahead and click that. What that does is that embosses the bars in the column chart, and also embosses the buttons. And to me, this looks a lot better to present to a manager than the default graph. Another part that I usually like to do is add the data labels. So while we're looking at this graph, we can see the trends that are going on throughout the different months for each of the traders. But we don't know exactly what those bars represent. We can get a basic idea using the axis labels and the grid lines. But to show the exact numbers, what we'll do is click on one of the bars, and you notice it highlights all the blue bars throughout the graph. After that, we're going to right click, and this menu will come up. And from here, we can add data labels, we can add a trend line, we can format the data series. All we want to do right now is add data labels. So what that'll do is that actually puts the number that this bar represents right above the bar. You can actually change the location of where the label is, but I usually like to keep it up top. Another little quick fix that I like to do is I like to bold the data labels because it makes it easier to see. And let's make that a little bit bigger. Actually, let's make that 11. So while we did that for the blue, we also have to do that for each of the different colors representing each of the different traders. So let's go ahead and bold these. And I'm using the shortcut Control B, which allows me to bold these without going directly here. Using keyboard shortcuts is a lot faster. Now we have a graph that, while it's crowded, it shows us the data that we're looking for, it shows us the trends throughout the year, and it shows us exactly what each trader is doing at each month throughout the year.